The city of Serenityville was known for two things: its beautiful tree-lined streets and a man named Simon. Everyone knew Simon. Shop owners liked him. Neighbors respected him. Co-workers admired him. He was polite, hard-working, intelligent, and successful. In his early 30s, he owned a comfortable house, had an excellent job, and enjoyed the kind of financial stability most people dreamed of. Everything seemed perfect, but there was something unusual about him. Simon lived by a rule he followed almost like a religion: never depend on anyone. Ever since he was young, he believed that asking for help was a sign of weakness. If he had a problem, he solved it alone. If he got sick, he took care of himself. If he faced difficulties, he kept them hidden from everyone. Whenever friends offered help, he refused. "I don't need it." When family members insisted on supporting him, he would reply, "I can handle it." And the more successful he became, the stronger that belief grew. Over time, Simon started to believe that absolute independence was a virtue. He failed to realize there was a huge difference between being independent and rejecting everyone around him. One afternoon, while handling paperwork at a city office, something unexpected happened. A woman walked through the door. Simon looked up out of curiosity, and completely forgot what he had been doing. She had a calm smile, spoke kindly, and carried a simple elegance that drew attention effortlessly. Her name was Helena. Simon watched as she spoke with the employees. When she left, he noticed something strange. His heart was racing. For the first time in many years, he felt nervous. That night, lying in bed, he tried to ignore it. "I don't need this." He turned to one side. "I don't need a wife." He turned to the other. "I'm perfectly fine on my own." But Helena's image kept returning to his mind. The next day, he saw her again, then the following week, and then again. Each conversation made things worse, because Helena wasn't just beautiful, she was intelligent, funny, and kind, and Simon began to realize he was falling in love. There was only one problem: he had absolutely no idea what to do. Talking to business executives, easy. Negotiating contracts, no problem. Solving complicated issues, every day. But talking to a woman he liked, it felt impossible. Several times his friends noticed, "Simon, why don't you ask her out to dinner?" "I don't need to." "But you like her." "I'm fine by myself." "Then why do you keep looking at her?" Simon would immediately change the subject. His pride was stronger than his feelings. Months passed. Nothing happened, and Helena started noticing something curious. Simon liked her, of that she was certain, but he would never make the first move, never, because his pride was a wall. One day, she met some of his friends. "You all know Simon likes me, don't you?" Everyone laughed. "The whole town knows." Helena sighed. "Then why doesn't he do anything about it?" One of his friends replied, "Because he thinks he doesn't need anyone." That was when an idea appeared, a completely crazy idea, an idea that should never have worked, but everyone loved it immediately. Among Simon's friends was a man who knew a highly respected judge and a high-ranking police officer. After many conversations and plenty of laughter, everyone agreed to take part in the prank. A few weeks later, on what seemed like an ordinary morning, Simon was arriving at work when several police vehicles appeared. Uniformed officers surrounded him. "Simon Almeida? Yes, you're under arrest." His heart nearly stopped. "Arrested? You are being accused of theft and embezzlement of a large amount of money." Simon turned pale. "That's impossible," but nobody seemed to listen. Moments later, he was informed that his bank accounts had been temporarily frozen pending investigation. His world collapsed. For years he had worked to build everything he owned. Now it seemed he was losing it all. For the first time in a long time, Simon felt fear, real fear. Sitting in a waiting room at the courthouse, he began thinking about who could help him. Family? No. Friends? No. Neighbors? No. His pride was still shouting inside him. But the situation was too serious. He needed someone. Finally, he remembered a professional contact he had saved years earlier, a lawyer. He had never needed her before, but now he had no choice. With trembling hands, he picked up the phone. "I need help." It was probably the hardest sentence he had ever spoken. About an hour later, the door opened. Simon looked up, and froze. The person who entered the room was Helena, dressed elegantly, carrying a lawyer's briefcase. Simon blinked several times. "Helena," She walked closer. "Hello, Simon, you're a lawyer?" "I am, and you're going to defend me?" She smiled. More or less. Simon didn't understand. Then he noticed something strange. People were entering the room. His friends. Then his family. Then the judge. Then the police officer, all smiling. Simon looked around in complete confusion. "What's going on?" Helena couldn't hold back her laughter. "Simon, it was all an act." "What? There is no accusation." "What? There was no theft." "What?" Everyone burst into laughter. Simon still didn't understand. Then Helena stepped closer. "We wanted to show you something." "Show me what?" "That nobody lives alone." Silence filled the room. She continued, "When you thought you had lost everything, you needed help, and for the first time, you allowed yourself to ask for it." Simon lowered his head, because he knew it was true. His entire life, he had built walls. Walls so high that they even kept away the people who loved him. At that moment, he realized something important. Strength is not about never needing anyone. Strength is recognizing that some battles are better faced with others by your side. His eyes filled with tears. Then he looked at Helena, and finally did what he should have done months earlier. "Helena, yes, I like you." The entire room fell silent. "Actually, I like you very much." Helena smiled. Finally, everyone started laughing. Simon laughed too. For the first time in many years, he felt a tremendous weight lift from his shoulders. The judge stood up and lightly tapped a small gavel on the table. "In that case, this court has reached its verdict." Everyone paid attention. "The defendant, Simon Almeida, is hereby sentenced." He paused dramatically, "to a lifetime of happiness alongside Miss Helena." The room exploded with laughter and applause. 8 months later, the entire town gathered to witness the wedding. The church was full, friends were there, family members were there, and as Simon watched Helena walking toward him, he finally understood something that had taken him years to learn. No human being was created to live completely alone. There are times when we need to help, and there are times when we need to accept help. At the wedding reception, one of his friends approached him. "So, Simon, do you still think you don't need anyone?" Simon looked at Helena, who was smiling while talking with the guests. Then he replied, "No." "And what changed?" Simon smiled. "I discovered that some of the best things in life arrive when we allow people into it." What can we learn from this story? Being independent is a good quality. But believing that we never need anyone is a mistake. God created human beings to live in friendship, family, and love. Those who reject all help may end up alone. But those who learn to trust the right people discover that some debts are not repaid with money, but with gratitude, friendship, and love. So don't let pride stop you from accepting help when it comes from a sincere heart. Sometimes, the hand that reaches out to help you today may be the very same hand that stays by your side for the rest of your life.